This is music, and this is a follow-up video. In a update video a while ago, I showcased this one that I had found in a secondhand record store. It was sealed, it was mint, it was mysterious and intriguing, so I picked it up. It was just an EP. I found it in the heavy metal section. The band name is Metallise, or something like that. And that's also the name or title of this EP. And looking at it, you know, and that's sort of the suspicion I had, that it might be some kind of more arty metalcore. The font used is not unlike the font that a lot of metalcore, more arty metalcore bands would use back in the day. And, you know, the cover artwork looks very metal, but also very arty. So, yeah, that's what I expected it to be. Looking it up in Discogs, you will find that it's categorized as hardcore, experimental, and heavy metal. Yeah, and hardcore, nope, not in your life. Experimental, yes, very much. Heavy metal, nope, not at all. I think what happened was that the people in the bookstore probably record store probably looked it up in Discogs, found that it said heavy metal, and placed it in the metal section. Just too bad that it was miscategorized in Discogs, because it's not heavy metal, it's not hardcore. There's none of that. It does have the darkness to it and coldness that you would associate with maybe some depressive black metal, or maybe some of the colder, heavier doom metal. I don't think that's far off, but that doesn't make it a metal album. Style-wise, it reminds me a bit of the Metanoia Sessions release by Porcupine Tree, I think it is, which is just like a long, very dark jam session. I get the same kind of vibe here, so there's a lot of, you know, drum beats going on. Some of them are slightly jazzy and funky. Got a lot of really dark bass patterns going on as well. And then you have some atmospheric, ambient, dark keyboards on top of that. And I actually don't mind that part of it, to be honest. It reminds me a bit of back when I was younger. I did start to explore like dark non-metal music, so that's very similar to that. Then on top of that, on two of the songs, you have an androgynous voice reciting poetry, and I don't have a problem with it being an androgynous voice. That's just interesting. And technically don't have a problem with a voice reciting poetry. In Ghost Priest, that's one of the songs. They cite Sylvia Plath. But to be honest, maybe it's just me being too working class at the end of the day, not being sophisticated and arty enough. But it comes across a bit pretentious. At times, it's like, oh, this is interesting. Other times when I listen to it, I think this is really annoying and pretentious. So I took a chance on this one. It was not what I expected. It has some positive, certainly, features, but just the way that, you know, this poetry is recited sometimes annoys me. Sometimes it gets on my nerves. Seems too pretentious for me, but again, it's probably because I am too working class at the end of the day, not sophisticated enough, despite the fact that I actually am an academic and I work in academia, in the humanities even, doing research and teaching and all that stuff. It's just, yeah, that annoys me. And sometimes I have to just, okay, That's it. I'm not going to listen to, if I have a listening session and I'm in a mood where this poetry citing really annoys me, I have to stop listening to the record. It's happened a couple of times. Interesting, dark, experimental music. Lots of good parts. Technically, there's nothing wrong with somebody reciting poetry. It just personally seems a bit pretentious, annoys me a bit at times. And again, it says more about me, I think, than about this music. But yeah, so if you see this in a record store under the metal section, it's not metal. If you see it under the hardcore punk section, it's not hardcore punk. If you own a record store and you have this one in your stock somewhere, don't place it in the hardcore or metal section. Place it in the experimental music section. I think it'll find the intended audience there. So that was just a bit of a follow-up, solving this Minty mystery. Thanks for watching.